Today, I want to talk about something nobody teaches us about our emotions. Something that once we know it, it opens a doorway to peace. When I was a child, I kept everything inside. I spent a lot of time in my room reading fairy tales, lost in my own small world. I didn't want anybody to know how I felt. I wanted everybody to think that nothing could affect me. But the truth is, I was very sensitive. I just hid it. I remember I had a very good friend who was very affectionate. And when she hugged me to comfort me, I would try to make it short because I felt that if she kept hugging me, I was going to start crying and I wouldn't stop. Years later, at 24, I went from Peru to Seattle to work for a software company. It was an incredible experience. Beautiful city, new friends, going on dates. But there was a problem. I felt that I couldn't share what I feel. It was like if I had a blockage and I was putting up a wall. And that's when I realized that I have been doing this my whole life. So I decided to go and see a psychologist for the first time. And that session surprised me. Every time I tried to talk about how I felt, I started to cry, even if it were the most unimportant things. And I cried and cried and cried throughout the whole session. Now I understand why. It was like a dam. And not because I had drama in my life, but because of the everyday emotions we most carry, like comparing myself to others, being teased, feeling criticized. I didn't like those emotions, how they felt, and I didn't know what to do with them. So I kept them inside. And that day, the gates opened, and everything flooded out. Years later, I left marketing to become a hypnotherapist. And in my sessions with clients, I discovered that I was not the only one. People will come to see me feeling overwhelmed, anxious, resentful. Some of them didn't even know why. Others had lived very painful experiences. They didn't know how to let them go. They believed that they felt that way because of their circumstances, their relationships, what other people do. But I started seeing something different. What usually affected them was not coming from outside. It was coming from everything that they have kept inside, that they never let go because they never learned how to do that. And that makes sense because since we are little, most of us probably heard things like, don't cry, don't be afraid, don't get angry. But no one showed us how to do that. When we feel fear, sadness, or anger, we just try to avoid that, or we distract ourselves from that. But the problem is, those emotions don't disappear. They stay inside, and they shape how we react, how we relate, and how we decide. And they build up as a snowball. No wonder we often overreact, but not because of what is happening right then, but because of everything we have been keeping inside. Now, imagine having a way to let go the fears, sadness, or anger you have been carrying. Imagine responding with love instead of from old pain. Imagine taking decisions from clarity instead of from fear. Imagine knowing how to return to peace. Today, I want to show you that this is possible, because I have seen this happen again and again. How did I discover this? As a hypnotherapist, I guide people into deep relaxation. I know, not the kind of, you are getting sleepy now, don't worry, but the one that helps people to connect with past experiences that they are still affecting them, but they don't know how to let them go, to finally let them go. We will call him Carlos because there was one session that changed everything. Carlos, a young man, he was coming to see me because of feelings of insecurity at work. We were exploring a memory from his childhood. And I asked him, "What are you seeing, Carlos?" "I'm 10, he whispered. "My dad is helping me with math homework. He is getting very angry because I keep getting it wrong. He grabs my head and he's banging it against a wall." I could hear the fear in his voice, like if it were happening right then. And this time, I tried something different. I asked him, "Where do you feel that fear in your body?" "In my chest," he said. "Okay, just stay there with that sensation. Just stay present with that feeling in your chest. Just stay there." And within a short moment, the intensity of that fear dropped dramatically. His voice was calmed. I was amazed. And that's when I realized what is the thing that nobody teaches us about our emotions. Our emotions aren't just thoughts. They are physical sensations in the body that when we don't feel them, they get trapped. But when we feel them, they can go easily. So when we do this, we allow them to open that door. That's the doorway to peace. I experienced this very clearly myself a few years before. I was in Barcelona riding a bus when suddenly I felt something run under my feet. My first thought, a rat. So I felt an intense fear and a rush of heat all over my body. I started looking down and I saw it. But it wasn't a rat. It was an orange rolling from side to side. But in that moment, my body relaxed and the heat and the fear vanished immediately like this. That moment impacted me because it showed me how physical sensations are and how fast they go when we stop feeding the thoughts that trigger them. With this understanding, I started to apply this with my clients again and again. And in most cases, when they felt the emotion in the body, even the ones from childhood, that emotion left very quickly. And I started seeing something beautiful shift right in front of me. Like this man who was holding a deep resentment toward his sister. And at the end of the session, he said, "You know, all I want to do now is go and hug my sister." Or like the woman who lost her husband, and after releasing the pain, he finally could remember him only with love and peace. And as you can see, the circumstances didn't change, but they let go the emotions. And what usually happens when you let go the emotions, what surface is peace, love, and understanding. One thing that caught my attention, it was how simple it was. I didn't ask them to reframe or to forgive, just to feel. And this is not a replacement for professional help when needed. This is a kinder way to relate to our emotions. Now, let's explore this together. Think about somebody or a situation that brings up a difficult emotion for you. Maybe it's fear, anger, resentment, frustration. Just notice it. Now, notice where in your body you feel it. Maybe it's a lump in your throat, or a pressure in your chest, or a tightness in your stomach, or a tingling in your hands. Just feel it. Now, put a number from 0 to 10. And now just feel it. Stay feeling that sensation. Just feel it with no judgment, with curiosity. Just stay there for a moment, feeling that emotion in your body. Now, let's bring that person or situation again and notice how you feel. Put a number. Some of you may have noticed it went down. When we feel our emotions in our body, it's like opening a door and walking through. And on the other side, the peace we have been looking for. And remember, what we don't feel, we carry into the future. What we dare to feel, we free. And in that freedom, we find peace.